What's up, fam? It is Wednesday, July 30th, 12:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just checking in briefly. Had therapy this morning. At 10 o'clock, we talked about my mom's visit. We talked about how sometimes I get anxious in social settings, and we're not sure if it's social anxiety or something else. Um, but typically, I've been, pretty stable outside of restaurants when we're having conversations, and typically it starts out well, and then for whatever reason something triggers in my mind and you start to get anxious or paranoid. So if you're out there and someone who struggles with a similar thing, know that you're not alone. Something that I'm working on, and something that I'm going to overcome. I'm confident I'm going to overcome this, um, and keep developing my coping skills to make sure that I'm the best version of myself, and I can hopefully learn to enjoy those times out. Those time I can actually enjoy that time out with family and friends instead of being anxious or paranoid and getting in my own head. Because once again, it's not all just about myself. It's about a larger picture, and I think everybody struggles with something, whether they admit it or not, whether they do something like this and talk about it online or not. I'm not saying that I'm doing the right thing and you're doing the wrong thing if you're not talking about what you're struggling with online. But the point for me is just to open up the discussion for specifically for males, um, because I feel like we all suppress our emotions a lot, and it's really important for if you haven't had therapy already. It's really important, I think, for all males in their 20s and 30s in the transitionary periods of life, going from high school to college, college to work. It's very difficult. A lot of people say college is the best time of your life, and I can attest that college is really awesome. And I'm looking forward to getting back to a 4 year living on campus, hopefully. Um, but it's also challenging being away from your family for the first time in a while for an extended period of time. And then, after college, you got to figure out work, which is stressful. And likely it's the case that you may or may not be moving back to the same town that you grew up in. Um, so there's more change. But yeah, I think therapy is extremely valuable. Um, it's your time to talk about whatever you want to talk about with your therapist. That's kind of what it's supposed to be like. Some other things I want to talk about, not living in fear, which I still struggle with. Like I still struggle with making decisions based off of fear, and of course that's going to be okay sometimes because fear and anxiety is a purpose. It's to try to keep us safe. But a lot of the times, especially nowadays, like we don't. You've probably heard the analogy of we're not in the Sahara, or we're not in Africa where there's like wild where there's like wild beasts and animals that are hunting us anymore. So, it's a civilized society, and more often than not, you're probably anxious over nothing. But it's still, I wouldn't dismiss it. I would, try to feel it out, understand where your anxiety is coming from, and then act from there with your coping skills that you've developed and that I'll be talking about. Specifically mindfulness strategies and DBT, which is observe, describe, participate, non-judgmental stance, effectiveness, um, and one mindful. Those are the six core principles of mindfulness in DBT, and just ingrained into my mind. And then another uh, another critical or another cool book of coping skills is the Four Agreements. And let me see if I can remember. Be impeccable with your word. Always do your best. Don't make any assumptions, and don't take things personally. I think as I was talking to my therapist today, we were talking about like other people's intentions, and we said that most people at the end of the day are good people. and have a good moral compass and act on that moral compass. Most people are good, whether we like it or not, whether we see it or not. Most people are actually good individuals, even if they annoy you, even if sometimes they don't have the best intention. We're human, we're most of us are doing what we think is best at any given moment in time. So it's really important to give people forgiveness and understand where they're coming from if you're not completely understanding why they do what they do. If you get frustrated with other people and don't understand why are they possibly intentionally frustrating you. So sometimes, for myself, I start to overthink. Um, that's okay. Um, but then another thing is, for example, like at the gym or at a restaurant for myself or at the beach or wherever, if you start getting anxious, just try to feel it out. Like I talked about before, feel it out. Um, feel it out. Um, don't push it away, which is really difficult. And just know that more often than not, like what goes on inside of you is private, just with yourself. I think it's very difficult. You often see sometimes people who say they're really anxious, and if they didn't say they were anxious, then you probably would have never known that they were actually suffering from anxiety, even paranoia too. Um, but it's just these are all things that we're going to be able to overcome together. Um, yeah, so it was a good, like I said before, it was a good therapy session today. Got 5 more therapy sessions and maybe more after that. Um, Wrapping the new hat I got, new glasses. I haven't worn this t-shirt. I was a little cold this morning. The plan for today, had therapy, rested, watch some golfers on the range to get motivated, try to see what they do to implement to my game to make my game better. Um, just the same as how you look at people that have a really strong mental state, see what they do better, pick up on their coping skills, just as I pick up on swing tips from golf coaches or just watching professional golfers. Um, and then we're gonna be leaving here shortly. It's 12:12. 12:12. It's 12:12, and we're gonna be heading out to a golf simulator, and hopefully we can be able to track my speed of my ball speed, my swing speed, and other data, so I can take videos and send it out to the college coaches. I emailed like 20 coaches, 20, 25, 30 coaches yesterday, maybe 15, 20, 15, 20, 25, whatever. And only heard back from 2 so far, but apparently I talked to my therapist. She's like, yeah, it's actually a good amount of coaches who've already responded. So that made me feel a little better. But we're gonna try to get some more footage. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this background space. I'm gonna try to alternate it, but I genuinely love this background because we're in space and space is cool. Um, Interesting fact that's kind of relevant. Apparently, there's a black hole. I forget what it's called, but it has a name, and it weighs like 4 times the mass of the sun, which is incredible. Somewhat terrifying because what is in a black hole? Nobody knows. One day we might know. But anyway, that's what we got for today, guys. Much love, peace. Hope you guys liked this video. I'm sorry if it was lagging. It's lagging on my end, but I just kept rolling with it. So yeah, we'll catch. I'm gonna upload this either before we go to the driving range and then work out, or after. Let me just review my day one more time. Therapy, watch golf, play golf, go to the gym, come back, maybe rest for a bit, take an ice bath, do some real estate work, watch TV, hit the sack. So what we got for today. This just helps me. Standing out loud helps me. Um, just get organized, and I'm gonna try to do this most mornings, assuming if I'm motivated, which typically I am. But yada yada yada. Neither here nor there, guys. Peace, much love. Have a good day. celebrate life.